Good afternoon, math students. All right, today we're going to go over our test review, Unit 4 test review. I've picked a couple of questions from our test review number 2 that is due tomorrow in class. The answer key is also up on Math 8 All, Classroom Math 8 All, okay? So you can find it there on the test review number 2. All right, now, I began with question number 8. And let's read it. The Penguins have won 3 games and lost 2 games. At that rate, how many games will they win in a 40-game season? Well, as you guys can see, they talk about winning 2 games, right, and then losing 2 games. But what they ask for here is how many will they win in a 40-game season? So they talk about wins and losses, but in the second ratio, they don't talk about wins and losses. They talk about how many will they win, so that is a win, but in a total of 40 games. So to do that the correct way, we have to set up our chart. And there's going to be wins, losses, and total. Okay, that is the correct way to attack this problem. And out of the paragraph, we can see that they won 3 games here and they lost 2 games. And when you total this up, 3 plus 2 is 5. And now the total, right, the total amount of games that we want to figure out here is 40 games. And when we go back and read, they talk about winning. So that is going to be what we need. We can get rid of the losses. So we're going to put an X there. All right. So we're going to do 3 over 5. We'll do wins over total. And we'll do 3 over 5 is equal to X over 40. And then we'll cross multiply. We'll get 5 times X, which is 5X, and 3 times 40, which is 120. And then divide each side by 5. X is equal to, what is that, 24? 24. All right, there you go. Let's move on to the next one. All right, and question number 10. All right, so the ratio of boys to girls in the freshman class is 9 to 11. If there are 500 students in the freshman class, how many boys are there? Again, this is another problem where you're going to have to find the total to get the right answer for the ratio. So we see that there are boys to girls, right? So we see that this is boys, this is girls. Because boys comes first, we know that boys refers to the 9, girls came second, so we know that the girls refer to the 11. And there are 500 students total. Remember, they're giving you out of 500 students. All right, so now we have to figure this out. How many boys are there? We're going to go boys, girls, and then we'll go total. We'll set up our chart again. All right, so here we'll have 9, 11, and then that equals 20. And then we'll have, on the other side of the chart, we'll have 500 here. And we want to figure out how many boys there are. So we'll keep this, and we'll get rid of that. And we'll do 9 over 20 is equal to X over 500. So we know that's going to give us 20X. And we know 9 times 500 is going to give us 4,500. Let's see if we can get that here, 4,500. And you divide each side by 20. And 4,500 divided by 20 equals 225. All right, so that's how we knock down that one. Remember, what are we looking for here? We see that there are boys to girls right in the first part of the equation, the proportion. But the second part of the proportion, they want to know how many people are in the 500 students, right? 500 total students. So that total means we're going to have to add these two numbers up and move and figure out the boys over total. All right, let's move on to number 3. All right, on the test, you're going to have to do these problems both ways. So I am just going to do this one problem either way. Find, we'll do direct translation over here, and then we'll do proportions over here. Direct translations, right? We just take what we see, put and write it as an equation. So find turns into x equals 9%. We can't use 9% in direct translation. We have to change it to a decimal, so therefore it'll be 0.09. Of for us means multiplication, right? So we're going to use parentheses and 4,200. That's pretty simple. So now we'll just do the math. 0.09 times 4,200, and that gives us 378. Okay, now you are going to have to write a therefore statement. So we'll say therefore 378 is 9% of 4,200. All right, now moving on to the proportions. We will set up our proportions. Remember, when we do proportions, we want to do always is over of equals percent over 100. So our is, right? So remember, you say find turns into what is. So if that what is, we don't know what is will be for our problem. So we put x over of 4,200 equals 9, and that's always going to be 100. Then we cross multiply, we get 100x is equal to 4,200 times 9. That's going to be 370 or 37,800. Divide each side by 100. And we get the same thing. X is equal to 378. And the same therefore statement can apply for both of these problems. All right, moving on to number 4. All right, Anne Marie purchased a One Direction t-shirt for $20. After the concert, she had it signed by Harry Styles, one of the bandmates, which brought the value up to 200. What is the percent of change? Whenever we do percent of change, we need to use our new minus old divided by old. Okay, so now we know that we need to find the new price and we need to find the original or the old price. So the original price is the price that it began, and the new price is the price that it went to. So let's read that one more time. Anne Marie purchased a One Direction t-shirt for $20. That's important. After the concert, she had it signed by Harry Styles, and it went up to $600. So now the beginning price was $20. So we're going to set that here. The new price is $600 because it went to $600 after Harry signed it. So that's the new price. And now we do new minus old. So we'll do 600 minus 20, which is 580 divided by 20. We'll put that in our calculator. Again, we'll get 29. But that is not our percent. That is our decimal. And when they do not give you a decimal, that decimal is here. You must turn it into a percent. Why? Because it says what is the percent of change. So now to make that your percent, right, you have to go once, twice, and that's going to be 2,900%. All right, there you go. So those were just a couple of problems that we worked on from our test. The last one is just our checkbook. Our checkbook is pretty easy. I just want to remind you guys that when you do this, the starting price goes here, right? So that's going to be $1,432.35. That is your starting price. And of course, if you write a check, that's going to be a withdrawal. So that will go here. and you would write why you were writing it, right? So you could say credit card, and the check number is 165. And you did November 2nd, so you just do 11/2, right? And then you would subtract that because a withdrawal means your money was taken out. So you do 1,432.35 minus 800.75, and you would get 631 and 60 cents. You put that 6 there, right? So you know this is the dollars, this is the cents. All right, and then when you get paid, right, so you could say check here. You get paid, you would have $950.55. Not there. Let's erase that out. You would have to put that in the deposit amount. So 950 and 55 cents. And now because it's deposit, you will add, so you do plus 950.55 equals 1,582, and your cents goes there. All right, so I hope you guys have success studying for your test tomorrow. If you have any questions, please be prepared to have your questions ready before we take our test. We will not have a long time to take our test tomorrow in class. All right, have a good night. Bye.